Welcome everyone to another HGA fundraising free webinar series. This is number 9, and we're having such a good time with this because of our guests and because of the content and the information that we're able to get out there. I'm joined today by a friend and also a member of our team. Mark West from HGA Fundraising is joining us from New Braunfels, Texas, and our typical other partner in crime is actually out of town right now, and so I'll get right to it. Buy-in experiences is the macro title of today's webinar, and our special guest, our esteemed guest, really doesn't need any introduction if you understand this space. He's a true polymath, and he is a friend of HGA Fundraising from the beginning, and the list it flows off the page as far as his bio is concerned. A couple of things that stood out to me. I've heard this man tell jokes in Mexico in Spanish, and I was jaw dropped. But then I learned that he was a principal at a school in Durango, Mexico. So he's a former school principal. He has conducted hundreds and hundreds of benefit auctions. He's a benefit auction specialist, which is a designation that only 300 people in the globe have. And he's a master falconer. He's a world traveler on a sailboat. He is currently docked in Petersburg, Alaska. He runs the Principal Auctioneer company with his wife, Carolyn. And as mentioned, a friend of our company, a friend of mine, and an all-around amazing human being. I want you all to welcome Chad Carvey, please. So there's a round of applause wherever you're at for Chad. And awesome. And we're gonna ask some questions. Thanks so much for joining us, Chad, and being gracious with your time. Chad is doing a ton of virtual events. He's become an expert in the space, which is not a surprise to me. But his approach to everything is, number one, always very unique, but always very effective.
Weird. So, you could say strange.
No, yeah, weird, it's true though. It's true.
Creative.
Your approach is pretty awesome, but Chad's also a visionary and comes up with a lot of these ideas on the fly, and it's amazing because they work and they raise money for his clients and for organizations all around the country. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, Mark West. He's going to start with a line of questioning for Chad on the buy-in experiences, and then we'll monitor the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free. There's a Q&A button at the very bottom of the screen and a chat function. Just like usual, we want to hear from you all. And Mark and Chad, take it away.
All right. Awesome. All right. So great to have Chad with us today and all of our guests. Chad, can you start us off? What is a buy-in experience?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, we give them lots of names. Well, first of all, hi, everybody. You mentioned we're in Petersburg, Alaska. I was thinking the name for Petersburg is also Little Norway. So if you've had a horrendous year, maybe you've said, you've got to be kidding me, or arg, let me teach you how to say that in Norwegian. The word is oofda. Oofda. Yeah. So when this year gets crazy for you, just say to yourself, oofda, and you'll have it. Yeah. All right. Good. Yes.
Sounds better than arg.
So there are lots of different names that this technique goes by. I'm calling it today pretty much selling by the seat. After I'm done, you guys can have my notes. Anybody who wants my notes, and I call it SBS, selling by the seat. Sometimes it's called auction chicken. Sometimes it's called last and then the number standing. Let's say you have 14 seats. You say the last 14 standings, or you make something up cute like the Magnificent 8 or the Fantastic 7 or the Sweet 16, those kind of things. But those are all terms for selling something by the seat. So if you've seen in a silent auction, whether you call it pay to play or buy-in parties, usually school events have that. What we're talking about is taking the best of one of those and putting it in the live auction. And I'll teach you this morning how to sell by the seat.
Awesome.
Great, Chad. So what kind of items work well with this technique?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, can I just go ahead and show them how it works? Let me do
Yes,
each one
please.
so they can, because then they can come back and refer to it. So, all right. So what I would do, let's say in this case, we have the prize, the lot is a 30-minute Zoom call with the cast of the Avengers movies. And I have 14 spots for you to be in these Zoom calls, right? I'll say, okay. And this is, I'm talking about if we're in a regular gala, we'll talk about the virtual version. So a regular live gala, I would say, all right, everybody who wants in on this incredible opportunity, stand up, take a stand we're going to start at $100 a seat. So stand up and hold up how many fingers you want for how many spots at $100. And most people are standing up with their bitter paddle and 2 fingers for usually a spouse. Some will be 4, some will be try to buy 10 or a whole bunch of tickets. Some will buy just 1. And so using a bid spotter to count those fingers really quick or doing it yourself, I just quickly see that I have way more people standing than 14 and way more fingers in the air than 14. I'll say, okay, now stay standing until it gets too hot for you. Stay standing at $100 a seat, at $200 a seat, at $300 a seat, maybe a couple people sit down. At $400 a seat, a couple people sit down. As soon as I see that we're getting kind of closer, I might slow down a little closer. Okay, 950, 975, stay standing. One more sits down. And I'm trying to get as close to 14 as possible. The math can get a little funky at the end. That's why you need a little bit of experience to do this kind of lot. But I usually have a couple of extra seats in my back pocket. I usually know that, you know what, if I need to, I can go up to 16 or 18, but it's for 14. And so I might stop at 12, and maybe I can't get any higher than 12 people at $10,000 a seat. And I say, sold, here we go. Joe 102, you're in for 2 spots at 10,000 each. Sally 206, you're in for 4 spots, however many fingers they have up. So that's kind of the basis of how it works. The psychology, once people are standing up, it's very difficult to sit down. That's why it doesn't work nearly as well in a virtual gala, because everybody can't see you and you don't have that peer pressure of standing up. Once you're standing up, it's very hard to sit down. Yeah, good. Mark?
Great. So tell us some more about how you found some of these lots or these items. I know you've picked some up off the silent auction table.
Yep, absolutely. That's the first place you want to do. You want to raid that list. So here's a couple of local recent examples. A school, they had the previous year, they had sold a dinner, very popular parents' house, really nice food and wine, and a book author was going to stop by and talk. And they'd sold it for about $5,000 or $6,000 the year before I came in the live auction. And I said, you know what? This is so popular. You're telling me there was a big feeding frenzy of bidding. Let me sell it by the seat. And so we had 14 spots, and it ended up at $2,000 a spot, $1,000 a spot. So we made $14,000 instead of $5,000 or $6,000. So pretty much tripled the amount of money you raised, exact same lot, just doing it by the seat. I had a gala last year that was a half-a-day hike, and it was for 18 of the school moms, and it was with their PE teacher. And apparently this guy was a hunk, because these moms were in a flutter. And I had like 40 moms standing up, and we ended up at $2,000 a seat times 18 moms. So we made $36,000 on a half-day hike with a PE teacher for a school, right?
Wow.
So think about that. So just that's a perfect use of that kind of thing. And think about this: the year before, that hike was in the silent auction at a set $200 a spot, and it was 200 times 14 compared to 2,000 times 14.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge one. So what you want to do, first of all, you want to raid your silent auction. So I'll look at the silent auction. I say, tell me the 1 or 2 events which are the most popular. And then we have to look at that event and see if it works. So we want 14 to 20 spots. That's where you really make the good money. 14 because you have enough people to make a lot of money. 20 because you want to make it feel exclusive. It doesn't work well for 30 or 50 people in something like this. If I do have 30 spots, I want to publish it as being for 20, and I know that I have 10 extra spots in my back pocket. We want to make it feel a little bit exclusive. It has to be the kind of event that is okay to do with people that are not in your posse. So obviously, a sleepover per parents, you're not going to, these are people you don't know, the other people who are winning these spots, that's not going to work. So you want to make sure that it's okay that you're not, the whole thing is not just with your group of friends. And then third, you want to make sure that the event is not socially vital to the school. If it's something like a tradition that goes on every year and it's a social and it's really supposed to be inclusive for everybody, you don't want to take that away from the school or from that event. Right now, events with celebrities, events with notables, principals, leaders, those are huge. How-to things, demonstrations, cooking shows, flower arranging, tall ship sailing. The other day I did the Warriors, the Golden Gate Warriors basketball team, the national anthem experience, where 15 students got to stand in front of each, one student in front of each player as they sang the national anthem. So I had, okay, all the parents who want their kiddo to be in on this, stand up and hold up how many fingers. I had one the other day with an interesting job where it was a hike for 20 parents underneath the San Francisco Bay through the BART tunnels and came out the other side. So a lot of good options there.
Hey, Chad, I'm going to interrupt Mark. Chad, I think what's great is that these are exclusive and unique to the event, where you're taking these items from the list of items that they already have. That's the cool thing, right? Or one of many cool things, other than raising a ton of money with them. We had a question, and it's going to be an easy answer, but you can embellish on this with your experience in doing this and how well it's working. We had a question from Mary Jean. How can you convert this to a virtual or hybrid event? And I think that, I need you to tell her that that's all you do now, essentially, right?
Yeah, so we just did number 38. 38 virtual guests. So the quick answer is you can't. Don't do it. So I've done two different ways. I'll tell you how to do it really quickly. However, I wouldn't do it. Like a Saturday, just this most recent Saturday, it was a little party. What was it? A little party, but it raised $5,500, which is probably what I would have sold it for to a single winning bidder. I know, it was a little concert with a Grammy nominated artist. For a certain number of parents, 10 couples. And so it made $5,500. So here's two ways to do it virtually. And first of all, don't. It's really for a live gala technique. But for the virtual gala that I had sold that half-day hike for last year, I did the same thing. But I started at 2,000 and went down. So think of it like a reverse auction. Instead of going 100, going up, which would have been impossible to do, because I do in my events, we do all the bidding and donating in the chat of a webinar platform. It would have taken 15, 20 minutes to go through that process, way too long. So we started high, and I kept on dropping down and saying, come in as soon as you could afford it. Come in as soon as you could afford it. And it ended up, we sold that 18 seats or whatever at $700 a seat instead of 2,000. So it was okay. I mean, $700 a seat is nothing to sneeze at. That's for a hike. That's just amazing. But it wasn't incredible. So the other way to do it is what I did very recently, which is, instead of going up or going down, trying to figure out that sweet spot price as close as possible to what it would sell for. So the other day I did one and I started it at $500, and that's where it was. I got enough. It was for, I think 10 couples, and I got 11, and they made room for one more, and we did it at 500. So again, it's about what I've sold it for in a regular live auction.
Okay, gotcha.
For to a single winning bidder. Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's another thing. You want to make sure, if you don't know whether the lot is going to be a good candidate, it is very easy, as long as you have confidence and you feel good about this process, to have your cake and eat it too, to offer it in both different ways. So let's say we have a party and say, Chad, we're just not sure that there's going to be enough interest to sell it by the seat, because maybe it's a tradition. We've usually sold it to a single winning bidder, and they're not going to get it. And so I'll say, when we come up to this lot, I'll say, this lot is so amazing. Here's why. It's this, it has this component, as that component. Now, there's two different ways I could possibly sell this tonight. I could either sell it to buy the seat, or to a single winning bidder. So I'm going to check you guys out. If we sell it by the seat, how many of you would stand up at $100? You know, I don't have them stand up and say, raise your hand if you would be in at $100. If there's a sea of hands, we're off to the races. Okay, stand up, stand up, stand up. And if there's not a sea of hands, no worries. We're going to go ahead and sell it to the single winning bidder. Well, what do you say? Get a bid, start them up at $1,000. Now get a bid one, now get a bid two. And we do the regular sale. So you can have your cake to eat it too. We call that a soft sell.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
awesome. Hey, Chad, so for a live event, do you always start low and go up, or are there times when you use that reverse auction?
No. So there's, besides the fact that most of these lots are going to raise 2 or 3 times what they would raise as a regular, live auction lot or in the silent auction. Besides that, there's a social component to this as well. So when you have clients who say, we really, there's some people who feel uncomfortable. Our live auction feels elitist. We get this in California a lot. We want something that's more fair and equitable. There are 2 kinds of lots that will infuse social equity into your live auction. One is a frenzy lot. And if you don't know a frenzy lot, we could have another session on it. But it's basically where I'll sell 10 things rapid fire to the first paddle up. Really in the same space it would take me to sell 1 auction lot. So we're going to do, let's say, a food fight or a food frenzy. First up is Joe's Pizza Palace. We have a 200 gift certificate. First paddle up gets it. I'm going to start at 400, 390, 380, 370, 360, 350, 340. Boom, sold at 340, bidder 297. So you're letting a lot of people buy a live auction lot who normally wouldn't be able to buy a live auction lot for in the low hundreds. So they could be part of the night. Well, the second social thing is selling something by the seat, because in a live auction where a lot of the lots are thousands and thousands, your by the seat might end up at 400, 500, 600, 800, but it's something that more people can afford. So there's a social component as well. But I never would do that Dutch auction or reverse auction thing on this, because going up, right, it's something that's very visible, and that peer pressure is pretty powerful.
Massive.
Awesome.
I had a quick question, Chad. Now, this could be a silly question, but I'm thinking about just promoting these lots before the event. Is there any recommendation that you and Carolyn make to promoting these items, that these special bespoke but exclusive to the group items that you're talking about selling 14 to 20 times? Do you advise that they do that to let everyone know that it's coming, or is it more just a surprise the night of? I don't know if that's a silly question, but
every gala, it should have as few surprises like that as possible. So you really want to make sure that everybody's talking this up as a fundraiser. Don't do that thing of trying to create the image that it's a party and be embarrassed about the fundraising. Really go for it. And I like to show off live auction lots as early as possible. It's a great way to have an excuse to email blast all your guests. Hey, we just got another lot. Guess what? We get, especially celebrity, because with virtual galas, we talk about registration versus attendance, right? That big gap. We have this many registered, only this many attended. And so we want to increase that ratio, and name dropping celebrities, name dropping super amazing, interesting live auction lots, some of which we put in there just for the wow factor. They're not going to raise a ton of money. So we might say, guess what? We're going to sell shark diving out of the Farallons or something like this. And if you want to cheat, here's a tip from a school principal.
Yeah.
Especially like an elementary school, put a live auction lot that just appeals to the kids. Right?
Oh, I love it.
You want to so you do a dumb little thing. Find out what the hottest little teeny bopper musical person is. Get a signed poster by them and say, kids, we're selling a hand signed poster by K-pop or whatever it is. I'm just saying, you might want to. And they're like, Mom, you go to this gala, you got to get this thing for me. And you could, and then all these kind of celebrities, like viral YouTube celebrities and TikTok dance celebrities. Huge for increasing it. But publish it, put it out there as much as you can, talk it up. And when you're publishing things about a by the seat, especially if it's something that used to be sold to a single winning bidder, you want to allay the fears. And so the reason why you want to make sure when you sell by the seat that you do it by a number of fingers up is because somebody might say, hey, I buy that for all my friends every year. Can I do it again? Sure, you can. You can buy all the seats. You can buy all the seats. It's going to cost you probably a lot more than you paid as a single winning bidder in past years, but you can, or you can make sure that your posse, your team of 8 friends are going to all get seats. So you can do that. You can still do that. And so you take away that worry of, hey, this is something me and my friends always do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's underutilized. I think that's an underutilized pre-promotion and getting creative like you're just describing. I think it's underutilized to say the very least. So that's good. I just wanted to get that in there.
There's no better way to increase your registrations and attendance than to get a celebrity. So you can get a celebrity, you can pay for a celebrity, a kind of a B list like cameo.com. They're not, it's going to be like James almost got a level of celebrity, but if you have a connection to a connection, if you put a room of 20 of your team or gala team or friends in a room and just really explore your connections, any team of 20 people, you're going to find 5 different connections. Somebody's friend's aunt's cousin is the drummer for Green Day or something. You're going to find some connection that you can use. And then when you get that connection, you explore whether this is something as an attractant. This is something where you can have a little cameo. Like I have Steph Curry the other day, just did a thing in his smartphones. Wish I could be there, go. And we can say, hey, guess what? Steph Curry's going to be stopping by, or we're going to hear from Steph Curry at our event. Or you can pay for performances. The other day we had Phantom of the Opera guy sing music of the night. And then we had the singers for Hamilton do a couple performances. So those are all attractants to the virtual gala.
Smart, super smart.
So Chad, is it better to have a date already fixed for this event?
Yes, you have to. So I have a little list here of tips and taboos, and that's one of the ones. You want to make sure that you have a date in advance. If you're going to sell an event, you have 14 or 18 or 20 different people, and you're trying to do a TBA, determined date between 20 people, you got a mess. So that was one of my things here for tips and taboos. Yeah. Smart.
Super smart.
What other tips and taboos do you have for us?
So number one, try to make sure you have an extra seat or 2 in your back pocket, because it gets funky. I'll tell you what, you have to have a good working heart, because this sale takes a lot of courage. So things that have happened, like we have a whole bunch of people standing up. Some of them have like 10 fingers or more up in the air, right? Their spouses have more fingers. They want to buy all the spots. Well, suddenly they drop out, and you've just lost 12 spots, and it's too many that drop out, and you have to kind of you drop back a level to try to catch them to bring them forward, but you drop back a level and they don't come back in. So you have to be able to read the audience as you do this, because I'm looking at their eyes, body language, to know, okay, they're getting ready. They're getting ready to pull out. And so it's good to have a couple seats in your back pocket. It's best if your ring person or bid spotter keeps the count for you. That really makes it fast and helps you to do that. We talked about this being potentially a social lot, not just a fundraising, but social. It also works well for small numbers. We usually call this auction chicken. So let's say you have 4 principals for a day. For a school event, or you have a fire marshal, like 2 of the school fire marshals. If you've never done a fire marshal lot where the student gets to pull the fire alarm for the next fire drill at school, you really should think about it. Number 5, tips and taboos. The guests, any guest can still buy all the spots. Make sure they know that they can all buy the spots, especially because really what you're looking to do, you want this event, like your warm-up lot, you want this to become a tradition. Same with your naming rights lots. You want this to become an annual tradition that grows and grows and grows and grows. I have a school in the East Bay where the naming of the deli sandwich never sells for under $20,000. Wow. It's become a thing, right? It's a thing. So you want these traditions to get going. So yeah. And then the last one was you need a set date or it's a mess. Don't try to do it to be determined.
I think on a macro level, what's very interesting about this topic and how much we've expanded, or how much you've expanded on it, Chad, is that it's also, once again, 30,000 foot view here. It's also showing folks to get creative at their events with the items, to get creative and not be afraid to ask, and get the deli sandwich naming rights, and pull the fire alarm. But if you don't have a school, get creative and go down that path, because all it can do is raise you money. And a lot of those items have no reserve and no cost to them at all.
Right. They're
And
priceless. And some of them are easy, like a half-day hike. I mean, right? Come on.
Right.
So things with celebrities that they like to do. So find out what the hobby of your celebrity is, and maybe it's a bunch of parents going kayaking because they like to kayak or something like that.
Right.
But the other thing, and touching on what you just said, is that throwing in a frenzy lot or throwing in a buy the seat lot changes up a long live auction. It's a good shake-up thing because it gets people their blood moving, standing up, sitting down, standing up. It's different. So people are like intrigued. It's not just your same lot. Just like a frenzy, it breaks up the monotony of a long lot. I had 2 marathons last week, one gala with 27 live auction lots and one with 17. So marathons, you want to break them up.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Especially virtually, yes?
Yes, yeah, virtually. This is all virtual. So yeah,
Right.
we're doing this from a little real estate office a block from our sailboat here in snowy Alaska. So it's a crazy new world. It's been a blessing for us. So we just did number 38. This week we have 2 more. We'll do 39 and 40. And every single virtual gala has raised more than their regular gala last year, not counting the net. Not counting the net, just apples to apples. Counting the net, they made so many more that I have a lot of clients who are saying this is what they're going to do forever, virtual galas, because it raises twice as much money.
And we're not disparaging either side. Obviously, there's a great way to do things virtually, in person, hybrid, online, so on and so forth. They're just creative ways to raise money. But we were just talking before we jumped on and went live on the webinar about how the fixed costs for folks that are implementing these strategies have just, fallen through the floor, in a great way. So that's pretty amazing, man. Yeah, like we said, we didn't want this to be the reason why we shook up the fundraising world, or the world got shook up, but coming out the other end, it's actually been really
a blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
For so many of my clients, they're like, this has just been an eye opener. It's amazing.
It made organizations go oof, from oofda to opa. They were cheering.
Ooh, I might use that from Norwegian to Greek.
I got you, man. I got you. Oh my goodness, to toast, So that's good. Yeah. That's good. Any more questions, please, folks? Please put them in the chat function. We have a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen as well. Mark, I've been cutting you off. I'm sorry. This is things peppering in my mind. But do you have any other questions for Chad, or any other nuggets, Chad, that it might not even be on topic exactly with the title of this webinar, but I want to be respectful of your time. I know you got to get going, but Mark, hit me with some questions, please, folks. Any Q&A questions? Then Chad, some parting shots if you don't mind. But Mark, go ahead.
Yeah. So you've mentioned frenzy lots a couple of times, and obviously gift cards are an obvious choice for that. Are there any other lots that do well as frenzy lots?
Frenzies. Yes, frenzies. So again, frenzies is where we're selling a bunch of low kind of silent auction level things to the first paddle up, and a reverse auction. We're selling them backwards. So yes, so it could be a food fight, a food frenzy, and we're looking for a bunch of certificates or things that are similar. So a food fight or a food frenzy, if it's food, a wine frenzy. It could be a ticket tornado, bunch of sports tickets to things. So ticket tornadoes or any kind of tickets. It could be home goods kind of thing. Anything where you have a bunch of, and sometimes people who are not sure whether to have a silent auction or not, just have a couple of frenzies. It's also another option when you look at selling desserts. So you've heard of a dessert dash, right? So you can actually do a dessert frenzy. So I did a dessert frenzy the other day that was insane. I couldn't even, I was trying to do them reverse. And so I did the first one for $500. I was going to start at 500 and go down. And as soon as I said 500, boom, a paddle went up. I said, okay, apparently too low. My next one, I said, I started at 1,000. Boom, I was like, I'm obviously lower than this crowd. Next dessert, I started at 2,000. Boom, a paddle went up. I'm like, are you guys like I just don't have a clue. And I had to go up to $5,000 to start before I could start dropping down, and I was catching them in the mid 4,000s for a pie, right? So anyhow, a frenzy, a food fight, a ticket tornado, home goods, all those kind of things. We say, all right, here we go. And the first one I kind of do a show them how it's done, and then I usually start double the value, fair market value. So if it's $100 gift certificate, I'll start at 200, 190, 180, and just keep it pumping, keep it pumping. Boom, sold it. Bidder 273, $190. Next, yeah, keep it moving.
Chad, I have a couple more. We got some great questions come in, and I'm gonna ask in the order and not in which they were received. But so hey, any suggestions? We have Jill asking. Jill's a sweetheart. Any suggestions when you get 10 gift certificates from the same food venue, for instance, and they're each valued at the same amount, like say $10, $20? Do you have any suggestions on how to utilize those?
I like that stuff. That's a great little thing in your kit as you're coming onto Gala Week and your last day. A little thing like that you can slip into lots of different places. So it could be, we could slip it into a live auction lot and spruce it up. We could slip it into a prize for Last Hero. I don't know if do you know that game, the Runaround or Last Hero? That's my personal invention about 8 years ago, and I gave it to America, and most auctioneers do that, and that was my gift to the world. It raises millions of dollars. That's the little game. It's the only game that you can every time you play, it's all a tax write-off, and there's no luck, so you don't have to get a raffle permit or gambling permit or anything like that. But if you yeah, I just think that you could use those 10 certificates in a lot of different ways. You know, they're not valued at $10 each. It's not really something that's going to sell way above the value. So you might put those together, or a 50, 5 and a 5, and they're $50 lots, and use them in a frenzy. I might use them to spice up something else. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. I got two more, Chad.
Let me say one thing. Just don't use those prizes don't give prizes in the fund the need. The fund the need is about heart giving. You don't give people extrinsic rewards unless you're going to give every single one. Every single donor of any kind gets this thing, but don't make it, and never give anything to your high bidders and not to your donors and not to your low donors, because you have broken the message, which is that everybody's going to give as much as they can. So don't use those as prizes.
That's great, man. That's great feedback. That's beautiful. Dawn, another friend of HGA and a sweetheart, had a question regarding your virtual events. Do you advise that they're ticketed, or that the donors pay to participate? What's your take on that? And I can see that I can see that pinballing in your head. That's good.
Yeah, that's a very important one. So it's really simple. Here is the absolute best setup for that. So tell me what your last event charged. So let's say it was maybe it was a high event, $200. If it was a regular in-person gala. So what you do is, when you send out your registration links for your virtual gala, you say, choose your ticket. Choose your fee, choose your amount. $200. This is what you would pay if we were getting together in our regular gala. For those of you who can afford it, we love you. We love you. Love you. It'll help us start the night. Great. Thank you so much. Option one. Option two is $100. Usually whatever half of whatever big one is $100. This covers all the costs for our event and ensures that every dollar we raise at the event goes right towards our school or cancer or whatever it is. And then number three, choose your amount, write in your amount, anything between, I usually do between $5 and $100, whatever that second one was. I don't usually do zero because I want to capture their credit cards. So I want them to pay something, but you could, if you don't need to capture their credit cards, you can go from zero. And a ton of people are going to pay that whole big price. A ton of people are going to pay the middle, and some people who need to can pay the little, the teachers and stuff can pay the lowest. The other thing you want to think of, it's illegal to do an online raffle, right? For the most part, you can't do an online raffle, gambling kind of thing. This is the way to get around that. So if you want to do a really nice raffle, you just say the $200 ticket price comes with a free drawing for a trip to Mexico or Hawaii. And the $100 one comes with a free drawing for this magnum of wine, a lesser thing. And so suddenly you've created an absolutely crystal clear raffle with completely legally, because it's just a door prize associated with a ticket price.
Super smart. Awesome. I had another question from Robin Jones. It's a good question. And this could kind of lead us into your parting shot, Chad, because I want you to get going. I know you're busy. We can't thank you enough for the time. This has been amazing. And we're going to have you on again. But any other experiences or ideas for auction items, just in general? I know
that's an hour.
Yeah, I know, right. Yeah.
I mean, like, what's going hot? What's going hot right now?
Maybe something. Yeah, I don't even know about that, but just yeah, exactly. That's fine. But maybe something that is ubiquitous to every organization that they maybe could acquire or.
Yeah. So, for explore naming rights, you guys. Naming rights are low-hanging fruit for most organizations. So there's going to be two kinds of naming rights. One is going to be naming rights about your organization. So last week I sold a school, the naming of the school garden. You're looking at annual naming rights, something you're going to sell every year. So for 1 year, the Jones family is the sponsor for the garden, or the garden is dedicated to them, or they name it. It's the Jones family garden. Next year, it'll be the whatever. And there's a little plaque. And then there's another plaque that lists every year that it stays up forever. And you were the 2021 garden sponsor. So naming rights that have to do with your organizations, or naming rights that have to do with the outside, like I said, the deli sandwich, the naming of the sushi roll, the naming of the coffee drink, the naming of the ice cream flavor. A big one is the naming of the cocktail. You go in, create a signature cocktail. It goes up on the menu. You have a cocktail naming party with 10 of your friends. Naming rights are huge. Celebrity stuff right now, you have them all captive. So a little Zoom call with a celebrity, those are going crazy like hotcakes. I've also this past year never sold more consignment lots than this past year. And there's two kinds that I do. One is use a multiple choice between lots. If you're going to use consignment, why would you not offer the guest 3 different choices or 5 different choices? Because you only pay for the one single trip that the winner chooses. There's no downside. I mean, almost always you want to do a pick your paradise, pick your trip kind of winner's choice option. The 3 I do like for Last Hero, a Bali for 6, a villa in Bali for 6, an African safari, or a week food and wine week in Tuscany. And that's $20,000 of vacations. And we raise a ton of money because people are playing this game for 3 different reasons. We only have to pay $2,500 for the one single trip that the winner chooses. The second is to find a really nice, I do this Mexico Grand Mayan kind of thing, find a really sexy consignment lot that has a big spread between cost and value. So this costs us $916, the value is $3,100, and I stop at $2,200 artificially. I get the bidding going 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, $2,200. I say, hold on. We got permission if we get to 2,200, as many of you can have this as possible. On Thursday night, I sold 13 of them. That's like $16,000 for the organization, right? So all the guests get $1,000 off a 5-star vacation. How can you not like that? So I really like those naming rights. If you know a book author, you get to name a character in an upcoming novel, screenplay, those kind of things work really well.
Pure gold, Chad. Pure gold. That's awesome. That's been great. That's been really great, Chad. Thanks so much. And then we're going to follow up with everyone. Really, really good. That's a lot. I can't thank you enough. Robin Jones, who happened to have one of the last questions that we asked, she's the winner of the Caribbean hotel package that we're going to donate that she can use for her event. Yeah, so that's fun.
Awesome.
And we're going to follow up with everyone with the recording, with notes from Chad, and we'll also link to his email. If you don't mind, Chad, I'm going to share your email so folks can ask you questions.
My cell phone number, if they want some free consultation, I'll help anybody out for free and some consult.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother. That's awesome. Always so gracious with that. We can't thank you enough. And honestly, after all that, I can't wait to have you back. That's going to be fantastic. That's going to be fantastic. Best of luck with the 2 events you have going on this week and everything in the future. Please give our love to Carolyn and be safe and be warm up there. And Opa, everyone, we'll see you next Thursday.
Ufta, and Opa. And I think, Mark, you guys are going to put my notes up for people to have. And notes
we'll send those out too. Yes, those are very good.
Yeah, with the recording.
Thank you.
Ciao, everybody. Ciao from Alaska.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
See you next week.